This is Sonic. My sister got him in Rome for €5. He was in a grab bag and her exact words were, "If I knew he was so ugly, I wouldn't have bought him." And I think her exact words were also when I asked her if I could repaint him, "I don't care what you do with that Sonic." And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to repaint this ugly little Sonic, but there's more to that. I don't want to just repaint him to be Sonic again. I'm going to turn him into Shadow. Hi, my name is Emily and I'm an amateur doll repainter. Let's get to it. First, let's assess the situation. Yes, despite the fact this is a dumb last-minute April Fool's joke video, I'm taking this very seriously. You can very clearly see the uneven surface of the rubber, and you can also very clearly see the sprue on his temple right here. The paint job is pretty poor quality. The paint is sprayed outside of where they need to be, and there are areas missing paint.
And what is this? Why does he have yellow on his feet? Just overall, a very subpar Sonic model.
Ugly European Sonic also has this very important function. I know it looks like I dismembered him just for fun, but I promise this is actually beneficial to the painting process.
The first order of business is I have to change the direction of his quills. And since this feels like unpainted rubber, I believe we can probably just blast it with a heat gun and hope for the best.
But before I performed such a daunting task, I tried dipping his quills in hot water first.
This is what my cats do to my shark every single day.
And so, ugly European Sonic took a nice dip in the hot tub. Unfortunately, this did not work.
I think I'm gonna have to break out the big guns.
Okay, so I'll just keep blasting it. 真的吗？桌子不会被烧坏？ You sure? Oh my god, it's smoking. Ah! Bend. And have to keep blasting it. And so I kept blasting it, molding the still hot rubber with my gloved hands, and then ugly European Sonic took a nice bath in some ice water. And here I exposed myself as a fake shadow stand because a real shad stand would know that only his bottom quills tilt up while his uppermost quill points down. I'm sorry to the shadow community, I'm living and learning. But all of that is to say the heat gun worked. I dried him off and started cleaning up the surface finish of the doll. This, regretfully, included sanding.
Now I'm going to try making his rocket boots out of foam.
Although the foam I was using was self-adhering, I used some E6000 to make it totally secure. And then I took his dismembered pieces outside where I gave it a spritz of this paint and primer in one spray paint, which was the closest thing I had to a regular primer. Say goodbye to ugly European Sonic as you know him. If I were a professional doll repainter, I would sand it and prime it and sand it again until the surface was nice and smooth. Unfortunately, I am not a professional and the spray paint really did not feel like it wanted to be sanded. For what I was doing and what I was working with, I think this was good enough. And then I began painting. The acrylic paint didn't seem to like the spray paint that much, as my paint job was very streaky and would bead up in very small amounts as it dried, leaving little white dots everywhere, further cementing the fact I should probably invest in a good plain primer. For now, I just had to do many coats of paint. I had to break out the mini brush again for the eyes.
Now we're going to paint his, whatever this area is called, his muzzle. Yeah, we're going to paint his muzzle and his ears.
Here is a bit of filming expose. It's actually very hard to do detail work with the model positioned right in front of the camera and a nice crafty background behind it all. In reality, after I filmed what I thought was enough footage, I did the rest of the paint job about 3 inches from my face. Very aesthetic, I know.
Now let's paint these limiter rings.
First, I gave it a nice ochre yellow base and then used an iridescent gold paint over top.
Now we just gotta wait for all of this to dry and then we can hit it with a clear coat.
Here we are, outside again. I pre-glossed the face and the shoes with some Mod Podge just to give it some shine and also to protect the foam from the acetone in this brand new bottle of satin finish varnish.
I'm going to let this dry for a few hours and then it is time for the final reveal.